All right. All right. We are live, Mr. Bruce. How are you doing this evening, sir?
Oh, brother, I am well.
how
I'm rested, quarantined.
how has this been? I mean, how would you say you've been faring in this?
I practice social distancing anyway.
Okay.
I'm funny. I'm funny acting, bro. I spend a lot of time to myself anyway.
Oh, you tell me. That's what I'm saying, man. Just, look, we're by nature, Bruce. We're just gonna be
You know,
standoffish anyway.
yeah. I'm a practicing introvert.
Yes, that's it, man.
I'm an extrovert by nature. I got to practice introverting.
Right, right. Man. So good evening, everybody, and welcome to the conversation room. Um, Mr. Bruce and I, we holding it down. Some other folks were supposed to tap in. I guess we'll either wait and see if they tap in. If not, we're gonna carry the carriage. We got the horses that can carry the carriage, and then we're gonna keep on pushing. So tonight, Bruce, I thought this would be an applicable topic, because a lot of times when we are talking about a lot of this stuff and involved in this and this show and this show and speaking on this, speaking on that, people are always wondering, how did you do it? Or are you still doing this? Or how are you talking about this? And, what's your deal and how you able to understand this stuff? And at the end of the rainbow, it is always, well, have you changed, or what caused you to change? Mm-hmm. And so I thought this would be a good, if we were sitting in church, they would call it testimony service. Right? Uh-huh. But we out here, we call it the Testimonial Hour, where you, me, myself, or whoever comes on, it'll be a situation where we speak on, speaking as imperfectly perfect brothers, right? Imperfectly perfect brothers. Right. We're speaking on how we, arrive to where we are and how we kind of reach that place of evolution to say, you know what? I think I want to try another route. Yeah. Speaking on something like that. So, would you say for you, and look, people got to understand this. In this life, man, there is no quick fix. There isn't a guide to perfection. There isn't a guide to success. And say people have wrote a lot of books, but all that stuff a lot of times, if people aren't digesting it and following it to the letter, it's just words. And so when you out here in this world and everything is coming at you like a quick, fast, and hurry, it is what it is, and you have to either adapt or get off. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
That's it. And so, but unfortunately, sometimes along that line, some of us are unsuccessful at a lot of things, and sometimes we fall flat on our face several times. And what happens when you fall several times? You become known as the faller, the bad person. You're not this. You fall too much, Bruce. You're not this type of person. You gotta be this. And so, over time, if we honest, we begin to embrace what we are called, and we walk in it for a season. I mean, after a while, look, if you're gonna keep labeling me as a nemesis and a monster, I might as well grow some fangs and start biting your neck. That's what you want, right? So that's what people do, and we live out these things. But there comes a time in all of our lives where we say, I think I'm going to change the tide. Mm-hmm. Now, the important thing to understand about changing the tide, just because, like if we were riding in a big cruise liner ship and everything is going smooth, when that boat decides that, you know what, let's change the knot, take the knots down, and I want to do a hard left and go that way, it's still not going to stop the rage of the current, meaning the waters, meaning you're not going to be still perfect. You're still going to have issues, but you decided, but turning the trajectory of your path can still shave off a lot from your life. You know what I'm saying? And get you together. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. For me, excuse me. For me, it began with me out of abundance. You know, if you eat anything too much, it's gonna make your stomach hurt.
Mm.
And for me, because I was in a particular environment with athletes and celebrities and people who we claim to be, you know, stars or whatever, because of my family's track with the NFL.
Yeah.
That took it over the top for me. And it was so easy to, gosh, I hate to use this terminology, Charles, but I guess, you know,
Go ahead.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Keep talking. Go ahead.
in order to get the point across, I'm going to have to use this terminology. It was easy for me to be sexual with a female. Now, for me, I could always consider myself to be, you know, good looking and well kept. You know, I was in good shape.
Strapping young man.
Yeah, strapping young man. And so it was never hard anyway.
Yeah.
But for those dynamics, those worldly things, man, because they were in abundance, it was that much easier. It didn't take work for it to be done. And I just had so much of it, man, that I started to feel like none of these people know me. Like, man, I have gifts. I have, you know, I started to feel like, I don't want to say used, but I started to feel like I made a lot of women feel objectified.
Wow.
Then I started growing up and started realizing that, you know, that it was such a false sense of ego thinking that I was the man like that. Realizing that they were using me as much as I was using them.
Yes.
and when that realization hits your ego,
yeah,
you know, in addition to beginning to suffer some of the dark consequences that came out of those hookups. You know, if anything as simple as calling your phone all day long,
yeah,
all the way up in the full spectrum, all the way from calling your phone all the time to I need to have an abortion.
Whoa. Done that.
You know, so all of that in the spectrum, once you go through that over and over again, as you begin to grow up a little bit, you start to realize the foolishness of it all.
Yeah, man. And that's it. I mean, look, that's grown man talk, Bruce. That's real. And look, everything, like you said, you just mapped it out perfectly from the calls that give you that reflection of just where you are in your life, all them phone calls and crazy stuff. Look, the I think I'm pregnant, the abortion. We done been there, done all that stuff. So as a result of all that, it makes you just sort of just be like, you know, I'm out here really living like this. And if you're not careful, there becomes a period in your life where you just kind of willfully go on autopilot. And you just like, you know, you no longer, you just like, you look, wherever the wind gonna blow, let's just go ahead on and blow. And you just out there, Bruce, look, NFL, you out there doing it. And you just like, whatever the spoils that come with it, so be it. And after a while, it gets to a point where I believe, just me personally, you got to get to a point where you are sick of looking at yourself in that particular space. Yeah. And you say to yourself, you know, I don't like this space and time that I'm in, and I don't like how I'm living. And, you know, not only am I a disappointment to myself, but I'm a disappointment to those who I know believed in me, who stood in my life strong. Look, for me, it could take me thinking about my mother and all the hard stuff she put in me and things her and my dad would say to me. And so when I found myself like way on the left side of town from where they went, I was just like, how'd I end up way over here? And she preached way over there. And so you just be like, how did this happen? And if we dig back deep enough, sometimes in our life as men, we say, look, I can be straight. for me, Bruce, coming up in my house, I lived over there. So you familiar with Southeast, I'm sure. I lived right over there. I didn't live too far from Wheeler Road and Mississippi Avenue. Near that intersection, right over there near Valley Green and all that. So, you know, I was in the little area. And so as a result,
have mercy.
Yeah, so my mom was like really like, even though she came up and she had her urban exposure, and my dad, but they were like married to the thought of saying, but you're not going to experience that, so to speak.
Right.
So for me, it was one of those situations where church was my reality, you know, Sunday, Tuesday Bible study, or heck, if we didn't have no school, she was even going to another church for noonday prayer on Wednesday. And don't ever have other services throughout the week or street meetings on Saturday, all that stuff. I was just like, gosh, she gonna force it down your throat. So it is what it is. You know, I had that experience. Right. And so as a result of that, I was that kid that knew all of the neighborhood guys. I was hanging out playing sports with them. We would have a good time. But then I'll be out, look, Bruce, I'll be out there playing ball. And here comes 6:30. I'm out, the game getting good. Charles the third. She called me Charles the third. Come on, it's time to go to Bible study. All my friends like, you gotta go to church. So I'll be like, come on, man, why you gotta embarrass me in front of all my friends? So look, Bruce, I had to go through all that. But they knew I was cool, but they also knew that was he cool, but that's church boy Charlie. So that was that thing like that. And so as a result of her, I guess, sheltering me the way she did, it caused me to kind of become that much more curious as to what was behind the veil. Like, what are you keeping me from? Like, why you guys can't be normal and hang out till they get late like their parents don't care? Why I got to come in here, be all early and do all these different things? And so, you know, when you look fast forward, look, a lot of them guys I grew up with, they did. They in jail and on drugs, strung out somewhere. So I get it in the grand scheme of things. But at that time, as a young boy, you don't understand it. You just feel like somebody is depriving you of your fun and your experience. Right. And so for me, I began to run into some turbulence. For me, I would say probably when I was in the 11th grade, probably middle of 11th grade, heading on into my senior year, I started getting a little testy and risque, and then you want to lose your virginity and all these things, and you just now when you start to get yourself when you get yourself out there and pushing, you just like, you begin to say, well, I done took them grown man steps, and so here I go now. I'm out here. And so we begin to live this life, and you go from one folly to another folly to another folly to another folly, and you get one situation after another, and you find yourself, how did I get into this? How did I get here? Now you have to make sense of it. You gotta put some legitimacy behind it, meaning you better get you some good source of employment. You gotta make sure your money good, Bruce, all those things. And you just gotta kind of make the best of your world as you have it. But a lot of times our decisions will follow us indefinitely. Some of the things that we do and have done, you know, Bruce, they're on our record. They ain't gone there. And so that's just the reality of where things are today. I see Mr. Lee right there. Mr. Lee, you good? Robert, you straight?
Mm-mm.
Oh. Come on, Rob. Come on, man. There must be a spirit on the thing. Now, Rob, let's see. Did Rob get back on there? He'll come back on there.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
hey, look, I'm gonna confess something. When I confess, I'm gonna share something, brother.
Okay.
My 3 oldest children, my 3 adult children, were born from church women.
Wow.
I started going to church when I was like 22. 21, 22.
Yeah.
And see, the thing that I had to grow out of, bro, is that, you know, we have our giftings all our life.
Yes.
So no matter what setting I was in, my particular strengths always made room for me.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when I joined this particular church, of course, my giftings made room for me.
Okay.
You know, the black church, you know, little young guy.
You wide.
Yeah. Little Solomon mentality or whatever, like, oh my God, who's this guy, whatever the case may be.
Right.
And back then, the black church ain't kidding about your background, where you come from, what your environment is like, who your homeboys are, and all that.
Yeah.
You know. So when I was in that environment, there were sisters in that environment.
Oh yeah.
You know. Long story short, my first 3 kids were from church women.
Wow.
You know.
Wow.
So I said that to say to the people who are listening that because a brother is in church, that does not mean that he is not subject to things that men are not subject to who don't go to church. We're all subject to the same things.
Absolutely.
It's all about personal growth.
You're right. I mean, like I said, you come and you look. I don't even have to say. Look, a good chunk of my folly came right from the front pew, Bruce.
Yeah.
Yeah, a great chunk of different things, and from one myriad of things to another, and you just be like, man, because it's like after a while, your flesh and its desires don't have no respect to person, or look, no respect of where you are, religion, or nothing. It's just that flesh wants to connect to flesh, and that's it.
Right.
It don't matter if it's the deacon's daughter, whomever, blah blah blah. Right. It is what it is. You know, I remember. I'm going to go deep into my secret files. Okay, so I'm just going to say this because you know these folks are connected to my page, but it ain't nothing dirty because really nothing sexual happened with the situation. I'm not going to say the people's name, but I'm going to say this. I remember years ago, I probably was in maybe my 20s or whatever, and I was kind of younger 20s, and I remember kind of I had my kid early on. You have your kid early on in church. That's it. It just becomes fast. Had that child, good and well, his mama blowing stuff. So you get that whole that post office stamp. When you had that kid in church, out of wedlock, bang, you get the stamp. Right. And so it don't matter how much of a golden child they think you are or were. From that point on, you that disobedient child that went out there and did this, that, and the other. That's how it is. So for me, that happened, and I remember kind of rebounding from that because fortunately for me, not only was my mother and my family a strong staple in the church, because my mom was the one who was influential of our pastor getting saved. So it was like really, my mom, it was like a real strong movement back then. So with my family. And so you could say Sister Dixon, they'd be like, oh, Sister Dixon, or my sister, my brother. We was it was 6 of us, the kids wise. So we were kind of a big family. So nonetheless, when for me, fortunately, I was one of those kids that even though folly got in the way of it, my talent brought me out of it. You know, if they weren't trying to get me to go do this, I had to sing, direct this, go over here. So I was pretty jack of trades. So when you kind of fortunate, just as it is, when you see in the NFL where they may have that one person that may be a little problematic, but you keep hiring him because he got the talent. And so that's pretty much how I was a little younger, early on in life. And so from that point on, I remember going out one time when the kids at church had a little function over one of the people I knew houses. And we went over there and we was just kind of hanging out. It was like young people hanging out on a Saturday. And I remember there was a young lady there. So I remember seeing her around the church a couple of times, but we didn't really talk that much. So that day was our day to kind of talk. So we kept talking while the party was going on. And then after that, everybody was like, let's go to the skating ring after this. And so all of us was like, bet, we're going to meet you over there. So we went to the skating ring. Me and a girl at the skating ring, so we chitter-chatting, skating together, talking. So for the night was over, she said, can we keep in touch? I like your conversation. I said, sure. Now, mind you, I had the tattoo from the kid, right? I had the tattoo, but I had already started changing my trajectory to sort of get things back on track, unbeknownst to none of them. Nonetheless, me and old girl, we went out I'm going to show you just how stuff happens in church. We went out on a Saturday night after hanging out that day. We went out to a skating rink. We all went out together. That was that. Me and the girl switched numbers. We talked that Saturday night. We may have talked a little bit that Sunday morning. Look, bruh, by Sunday evening, morning service had passed. It was 4:00 in the evening. Here comes the girl. She calls me at the church. So I'm like, hey, what's going on? Good to see you at church today. You know, My uncle. Now her uncle was a deacon, a popular deacon in the church at the time, low key guy. But the uncle had gotten the word from another higher up official. And uncle, the official said, now how the girl, how they found out, all I was doing was chatting to the girl. I wasn't knowing nothing, but just talking to her on the phone, Bruce. They tell me, you know, the Dixon boy is trying to talk to so-and-so. I don't know if that's a good idea. I don't know. So Bruce, why they gonna tell the girl to don't talk to me and all this stuff? And I was, man, that blew me because I wasn't even on that, right? At that time, I wasn't on trying to do no be foul and stuff. I was just, she was intelligent. I was just talking to her, chatting to her. But they took that thing because of the stamp. You don't be this person, and that's it. But look, you know how the story goes, Bruce. When you tell people the iron is hot, they still want to touch it. I had to be one, but she kept being bold to want to go further. And I said, look, because of the parties involved, it ain't worth it. I ain't trying to get you in a situation. Anytime assistance and passes on, just forget about it. Back off. Maybe this is just what it is and let that go. But just to make an example of how in church, sometimes we can get in situations and people can really, if it had not been for God having a predestined plan for your life, look, man, stuff like that and something like that has happened to me numerous times in church. Not just the same scenario, but things where I felt things were slighted. But if it had not been for me knowing who I am for myself or things that were implanted in me, man, I'd be in somebody's sewer on crack, doping up in the leg, you know, drunk, just messed up because some of those formidable things that happen to us in our earlier years are the things that break us up when we get older. If you don't deal with them, you know what I'm saying? If you don't deal with those rejections or offenses from the church, I guess they call them church hurts, you walk off and you just be messed up. But for me, it was like my life, just in spite of it, I was still able to live a life where I still felt the presence with me, irregardless. Right. In my life, period. So I may be an anomaly in a situation, but a lot of men don't really get up from situations like that when they get beat, so to speak, psychologically beat in church. You get my
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, something.
I started to really look into the whole, like, not necessarily why am I like this, but I really, what became an overwhelming feeling to me is I began to ask myself the question, which one of these women will actually know who you are? You know, it wasn't like I was sharing myself with them, some of my goals or my fears, anything about me, about my deep inner self, wasn't sharing it.
Wow.
It was all flesh.
Wow.
All flesh. So it took me some time to really begin to respect a woman. Because during them years, I was never disrespectful. I never talked to him any kind of way. I was always a nice guy to him. However, I never respected what they brought to the table. I always looked at them as literally a piece of meat with a personality.
Wow.
So if we went out on a date, they could be, because I'm studying this and and I would just listen.
And be like, yeah.
Okay, you ready to go? You know what I'm saying? You ready to go back to my house?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That type of thing.
Right.
And I would go through all those motions, man. And looking back at it, I can't even say it's an age thing.
Yeah.
So because now I'm seeing men in their 40s.
Yeah.
That with that same mentality towards the sisters.
Yeah.
So as I began to shed some of that foolish consciousness that I was carrying.
Yeah.
And begin to look at the reality of Black life.
Yeah.
That's when I began to say, okay, I have to get these things healed.
Yeah.
I got to find out what's actually going on in me that has me responding to all of these women. like you said, sometimes it's just the autopilot.
Correct. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but for me, it wasn't an autopilot. Something was driving me, because after I was, I mean, it was, oh God, I don't get so deep, Charles. But
it's all right, man. Look, I got you, man. It's cool.
You gotta hold me down on this one, bro.
All right.
Brother, sometimes when my people was playing, sometimes it was two or three different ones per day.
Yeah.
And I kid you not, 2 or 3 different ones per day.
Yeah.
Because there was not, hey, I mean, everything was set for me. I didn't have to do anything else.
Right.
As far as career or anything like that.
Right.
You know? So after a while, after being on autopilot for a while, I would still do it, but the pleasure was no longer there.
Yeah.
So doing it with no pleasure, that means it's something else now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's something else that had me in bondage.
Yeah.
To that behavior. So then that's when I had to realize what that was and begin to deal with it directly.
Yeah, man, that's powerful. Bruce, listen, you making me think about some things. And you know, when I would sit back and when I would find myself, and I tell you, Bruce, I have found myself in the middle of a lot of folly. And I used to say, why? Like you, every other part of your life, you take extremely serious. You are goal oriented on this. You don't play no games at your job. You love your music. You love all these other things that you like to do. You are like this. But when it comes to this facet of life I've created, you have been married to the reality of foolishness. You were married to foolishness, in your heart. Married to, it was just like, for me, it was like, now, I think I can tap into a source. Bruce, you said you weren't sure if you can tap into a source. For me, being a person, I think early on, if I can just go back in life when I was younger, I think for me, it started for me when I would come out the gate and when I was like maybe dating or hanging out or whatever. And it always seems like who I was organically, like the calm, get to know the person, easygoing person, you know, nice, do anything for everybody. That person seemingly was never appreciated. And that's who I was organically. Like, that's just organically. Like, if it can just be cool as a fan, we don't got a trip, let's just enjoy ourselves, fine. But it seems like unless I carried an edge, I wasn't the same.
Yeah.
Unless I was a little bit troublesome, I wasn't respected the same. Or it was just like, oh, why you being all nice? Why you being, I'm sitting here like, wow, I'm being nice.
Yeah, like this is who I am.
All of this. And so early on, a lot of this was embedded in my psyche. And it looks like to me, I was fighting a losing love battle. I was trying to achieve those right things that I see at home with my mother and father. They together, they always home. My dad never sleep out the house. You know, I saw the functionality, whether they were perfect or not. I saw the functionality of two people working, raising a family. That was that. So in my mind, I'm looking to emulate that. So I'm out trying to do this. And when I would find these particular individuals early on in life, it just seemed like, I was like, son, this isn't, I'm like, I don't like this. Because this right here is just seeming like I can't be who I am. So guess what? I had to become Superman. You Batman?
Yeah.
I said, guess what? You don't like Charles Dixon? I'm going to be Superman. Now I'm going to show you all my superpowers. All this, sex that, trick over here, trick over that, dress like this, drive this car, flash this money in your face, take you over here, do all these things. Now you're going to see the man with the cape. You're never going to see Charles again. You're just going to see Superman. Guess what? I'm going to be a superhero 365 a year. You're not going to see me change my clothes. You're not going to catch me vulnerable. You're going to see me in superhero mode all year round. And so after a while, that became my reality. For years, I was soaring from state to state like Superman. You know how Superman is. When he arrives, all the women is like, oh my God, Superman is here. I want to decode Superman. So you become the person that, whether it's not about you, and of course it's not about looks, there's plenty of nice looking men or whatever in the world, but you become the person to be decoded. You become the challenge. You become, and the reason people give credence to the challenge is because, now here's the kicker. You can be a challenge all you like, but if you don't have no means, people don't have the time. They give credence to the challenge with the apparent means. If you taking care of yourself, you live a decent, well, let me see if I can crack this case. Interesting. And that becomes your thing. And you become this person that you out here and you live in this life and you just like, wait a minute, I'm exhausted. Because like Superman, he flies all day long. I just want to walk. Like I just want to walk. Can I get some water? Do I gotta crash through buildings and do all this? I don't want all that. And see that lady down there? That's Lois Lane. She got on her spectacles, her glasses. She just walking into Macy's. She ain't trying to run me down the street to Barney's and all them places. She just like, just come on down here and be normal. And so for me, for years, I was here looking down at the type of person that I could deal with, but I couldn't find a way to connect because I couldn't find Charles. I was stuck in Superman. And so for years, I just went flying and flying, conquering. And here's the thing.
That's powerful.
Even in that superhero life, I was still able to forge a relationship enough with people that they were able to grasp that, guess what? Even though this superhero guy fights the crime and he does the impossible, he's the nice guy. He's really vulnerable. Like they could even see through Superman that he's a nice person, irregardless. And so even in my folly, I still didn't outright disrespect anybody. Now I might have to be slick, but I promise you, nobody gonna reach back and get on here on this live and say, you called me a hoe. You told me I was this, that, and the other. I'm not talking about being in the heat of the argument sometimes. I'm talking about outright dismissing someone and turning them like a piece of trash. I would never do that. If anything, I would be regular with you and try to be slick. I'm gonna be regular, but I'm gonna try to go over here and I gotta adjust my cape while you're not looking and fly and do all these things. And so after a while, that I got tired of that. And so for me, especially Bruce, especially when I would find myself getting into trouble, grown man style. Like I'm in foolish scenarios, and it's just like, I said, wow, how did I accomplish what I accomplished, live the life I've lived, work the places I've worked, but I have not addressed this. Like how did I ignore Superman? Like he's brightly colored, he stands out, he's robust in size and all this, but how did I ignore him to the point where I've lost connection between him and who I am? And so I had to sit down and readdress who I was and say, listen, to the core, go back to who you were coming up. How were you raised? And when you were raised, hold on to some of those principles from them. Use them as your founding blocks. Hold on to that as you recreate your future and think about reconnecting to who you are. And so I did that, and I would go back and I would say, you know what? I know this wasn't the man I was raised to be. I was raised to be an entirely different man. So this particular man who carries these war wounds and these issues, and you got stories over there, and the ghost from Christmas past and all this kind of stuff. And it's just like, that's not who you were supposed to be. You were supposed to be a leader, a great man of great wisdom and great talent. That's who you are. And I was going to say this to you earlier, to Bruce. This is in your defense to anybody that says anything about what we say on here tonight. What I have to say, here's the thing. When you are an extremely gifted person, there is a great responsibility to it. That's why Scripture says, "To much is given, much is required." So guess what, Bruce? If you got like all of the stuff that you say, all of the things that you post that provoke thought, and all of those things, and this isn't a license for you to do anything. It's just justification. The point I'm saying is, people have to understand, when people are great, it is not only is it a great responsibility, it is a great amount of pressure, because you know that what comes with that gifting is a certain allure. It's almost like wherever you walk, somebody sprays a great fragrance that precedes your location. You start here and they say, and you can walk in, wait a minute, you're not even near them, but they can smell who you are without encountering you. And when you come around to be this person, and look, on top of that gifting, because we all know stories of men that were ugly, gifted men that had women for days, but it was the charisma that drew the women.
Exactly.
Don't be charismatic, attractive, talented, and all of those things. It is problems on steroids. You know what I'm saying? And so it takes a lot of character. It takes a lot of and you know, one of the foolish things I know I can admit that I did was try to walk this thing out. To try to walk this out without a mentor. For years, I thought I was smart enough to just bounce things off on myself.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I can just bounce them off on myself and say, guess what? I got it. I understand. I learned this. I can read this. I can do this, that, and the other. So what Robert doing?
Robert's popping.
Come on, Robert. So yeah, I thought I could do these things. Come on back, Robert. We got to hear your part. So yeah, you know, I thought I could do these things. And as a result, time showed me you cannot do them on your own. You have to have an accountability person. You have to have that mentor person that can come and say, listen, brother, you are on the right path, but that right there was foul, and that right there wasn't cool, and this you need to do that. And so it took me a while to get it, but I had to, like I said, I began to pray for singleness of mind, and once it began to come, I began to work the rest out one piece at a time. That's all I can do. Robert Lee, we got to get you, man, while you're here, brother. Can you hear me, Robert? Robert,
I can hear you, but it sounds like a robot. I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna let it see if it'll come clear a little bit. How do you hear me?
We hear you clear.
You good.
So listen, while you if you can hear me, start talking a little bit about what evolution and change looked like for you as a man in your ascension.
Like I said, I didn't understand none of that. What did you say? Repeat it again.
No, I said, let me know, how did your life look for you as it pertains to evolution and change? How did Robert Lee evolve from the old Robert Lee to who he is now? Y'all, the devil is messing with the broadcast, y'all. Bruce, the devil's mad tonight. He's like, this is too much freedom. Let me go ahead and burn up this broadcast. I'm preaching irregardless. We're gonna get this point across.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, can you hear now, Robert? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can. But you sound like a robot. I know you can hear me, but y'all sound like a robot to me. Repeat it again.
I tell you what, 1 second. Hold on. Look at your phone. I got an idea. Look at your phone. Hold on, Rob. Look at your phone. Hold on. You can talk, Rob. Talk, Bruce, while I'm doing this real quick. Hold on.
When I look back over 25 years, 51 now, I look at my early 20s. You know, one thing that I try to stress to people is that with human nature, temptation does not necessarily leave you. The same temptations that I had as a young man, the temptations are still there.
Yeah. Still there.
Yeah. The amount is still there. However, the discipline that comes from knowledge, I'm going to say wisdom.
Yeah.
Because I learned discipline through the things I suffered.
Yeah.
So when I started reading that scripture that Christ became obedient, or Christ learned through the things he suffered, I identify with that.
Absolutely. Because
after 2 or 3, oh, you got me pregnant, I need $5,000 for an abortion, or you know, or I'm sitting in the parking lot talking to my new girl, and then a car pull up next to me. What you doing in there? And all that kind of stuff.
God, man.
After all them,
I
learned. I said, okay, Lord, you are showing me that I am not going to get away with it. These things I'm doing, Lord, you're going to keep exposing it.
Yeah.
So I had to start paying attention to the things that I was passionate about. Outside of females, like what life subject or what life matter was I passionate about? What type of things made me angry? What type of social injustices pissed me off?
Wow.
Or stuff like that. And then I really started to discover who I was. Because like you, Charles, behind that Batman mask, I was living that superhero life and caught up in it.
Right.
And so disconnected from who I really was. Because I knew that once I began to really get into who I am, and really, not to sound so spooky, but really begin to have the Lord tell me who I am.
Yeah.
Like, yo, this is who you are, man.
Yeah.
You know, you are not this, but you are that.
Yeah.
And once I started hearing that, I fought it for a long time, bro, because I knew it would take me on it's a lonely life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you don't think like most people.
Yes.
And then, so if I go in the strip club, I find myself, this might trip y'all out, I find myself in a strip club, instead of getting a lap dance, I'm asking them about their life.
Yeah.
Hey, girl, take this money. Just tell me about your life, baby. Why you doing this?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How many kids you got? You in school?
Yeah. Oh, wow.
What is your life like?
Wow. Wow.
Well, don't you want to sit down? No, I want to talk to you, baby.
Wow.
I just want to talk to you.
Wow.
You know? And then as that started to develop, I just couldn't deny it no more. Like, this is who I am.
And it is what it is.
What can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yep.
Okay, brothers. What made me change? I got tired of lying. See, the lies got to me, bro. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest with you about it. I got tired of trying to juggle 2 and 3 people at one time, trying to remember this lie that I told. And another thing too, the nervousness of it. I know I done lied to this one, but at some point in time, somebody gonna bang on this door, somebody gonna confront me on the town, and this, that, and that. That was the first thing to change. Like I told you before, my testimony is one of my partners came to me and told me I wasn't looking good on the town. I was looking like a little hoish ass dude on the town. And that's just been that. Sure enough, I had the women with the shape and this, that, and another and all that. But the thing about it was, how you hear people say they laughing at you. That's what my boy was telling me. Yeah, you running the gals, but the women are whispering, he ain't nothing but a whole ass dude. That's all he is.
Yeah.
And there was never a respect thing when it came around. It was like, if I said anything or if I promised anything, it was like he was blown off because the women were thinking like, hey, he lying anyway, so it ain't making no big deal. But for me, that was one of the reasons. And then, like I said, the main reason it came over behind me because of my partner. Because if another brother is gonna come to you and tell you, you know how we say in the barbershop, but if another man comes and tell you, man, you ain't looking good on the town, you need to pay attention. Yeah. Because that's one of the main things, because that's a sign. If another man can come and tell you, hey, dude, you kind of messed up, you need to pay attention to that. Yeah. And the next thing for me was, I would say another thing that changed me is when I had my son. Because like I said, even though I had a father, I was one of the, and I say it this way, and people seem to get offended when I say it, but I just say it this way. I was one of the lucky black men that actually had a father in my life. And some of those things that my father told me, you know, I kept up with him, but I was still doing my own thing. That's why I'm one of those lucky black men that don't have 4 and 5 baby mamas, 4 and 5 kids. But when my son came into this world, that also let me know, hey, man, you got to stop doing what you're doing. Yeah. Because if your son might not be as lucky as you. Wow. You see what I'm saying? So that was another thing that changed me real quick.
Wow. And, you know, Robert, something you said made me think of something. Oh, he got off real. Something Robert said made me think of something. Is he was talking about, hey, Dr. Cheryl, is what made him feel... let me get him. I think he's coming back on here. So Robert, you still there? You there? So Robert mentioned.
Yeah, I'm still. I'm back now.
Yeah. So Robert
just keep kicking me out. That's all.
Okay. So Robert mentioned what made him want to change was when his friend came to him and said, hey, you looking bad out here. But think about this, because Bruce, this is essentially what he's saying is how we were operating. We wanted to be looked upon as moral while living immoral.
Yes.
See, we want to go out here and say, I'm all up. I touched her. I did this. Now, in reality, you are a mess.
Yes.
The whole mess. Whoremonger 2000. You just a whole mess. But but see, here's the deception, Robert, and that whole thing. Coming up younger, coming up on the street corners and seeing the cool dudes hanging over there, and when we come over there and they be like, hey, what's up, little Charlie? Where your little girlfriend at? When we hear all the little advice that makes us feel like, so you need to, if I go out here and get all these notches, I'm gonna be cool like y'all? Yeah, okay, but they don't tell you how immoral you look. They just tell you, go do it, be smooth, be cool, be pretty Charlie, whatever you're gonna be, go do you. But they don't tell you the demise of it when you are in it. You look like a fool, basically, because really you losing out on family. You're not you're not being the husband that you're called to be. You're not the brother that you're supposed to be looked upon. That advice person, that mentor. You just out there in the street, really you're virtually useless to everybody. You're not even useful to the woman you land with, because you can't even offer them nothing but a piece.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
and they know it.
Yeah, that's it.
The women know it.
They know.
Let me say this real quick. I'm sorry. I want to say hi to you, Dr. Cheryl, but
hi.
But before I lose this thought, one thing that heavily influenced me is because, like, these things that we do now, these lives and Dr. Cheryl's presentations and stuff like that, this stuff is not new for me. I was doing these things in my 30s. But here's the thing that really brought conviction. I got tired of the women in the audience knowing what I felt like. If I come into a situation to share my thoughts or teach or whatever you want to call it, and it's 15 people in the room, I done slept with 7 of them.
Wow.
Wow. Lord have mercy. You understand what I'm saying?
Man. Yeah.
You begin to ask yourself, what kind of influence do you really have?
Yeah.
And these people, the ones that I slept with, they're the loudest. Amen, brother. Teach, brother. You understand what I'm saying? Bring that word, brother. And I would say, oh my God, what am I doing?
Yeah.
There has to be a righteous side to this stuff, or else it's all in vain. So then that's when I started really looking into, like, really walking with the Lord and casting aside the Batman.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, we all have those superhero images that we operate in.
Yeah.
So when I started walking like that and still keeping it real, still being a real man, a real dude from the hood, you know what I'm saying? And staying true to all of that.
Yeah.
I started having more influence in the kingdom settings because of the authenticity. Realizing that the people that I was talking to or dealing with, they appreciate the authenticity because they were just as bound as I was.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
No, that's real talk.
I wanted to get that out there before I forgot that.
Yeah.
Hey, Dr. Holmes.
Before I'm gonna pass this to Cheryl in 1 second. I wanted to say, you piggyback on something you said, Bruce. This is one key point that I'm surprised that I forgot about early on in the show. That was really the beginning catalyst of me ascending in change. And that is, Dr. Cheryl can probably attest to this part. When I started recording my music, and I wasn't just recording music that would say, jump up and dance and lift your hands up and go ahead on home and be encouraged. If you listen to my music, most of my music is one-on-one relationship to God music.
Yes.
I mean, it's stuff where I'm talking about my apology, I'm sorry, all kinds of stuff. It's almost like saying, I know that this music is supposed to be for the world, but I need to be helped. So I need to connect with him through what he's given me. And so that's what I did. And when I found myself doing all of this music, recording all of this gospel, quote unquote, music, and then I found myself selling it to the victim. You know what I'm saying? Here I am saying, listen, this is this song, this is this album called Happy. I'm gonna buy your album. I'm gonna buy your album, but I was just at your house, right? Okay. So I knew at this point, I said, listen, you can't be out here. I don't care how talented you are. It is like pouring your oil on just, on fallow ground, trying to, quote unquote, sow into something that you are not living. Like it was like all kept coming to my mind. You mean to tell me I gave you all of this oil for all of this, and you just pour it out on the sidewalk for the homies that are here? You get my drift. So
absolutely,
is take what I'm giving you and bless the world with it, not sit up here and use it as a lasso to grab who you want because of your sound. And I evolved from that and say, and that is the real reason, I'm gonna say it publicly, that I stepped away from my music.
Understood.
I have to get me together first so that it can become that much more effective on the back end, because I couldn't do it in duality of mind and spirit.
Understood.
That's
Understood.
Dr. Cheryl. So, I'm sorry. What are we going to say? This is what we're talking about tonight. We're saying, look in all of our glory, look in all of your decoratedness, and all of the great things that cloak Dr. Cheryl. What we're speaking to is when people see us moving in this way and on these shows and these platforms, the first thing everybody wants to say, well, before you got to be Dr. Cheryl, how did you begin to change the old Dr. Cheryl to become who you are now, like internally?
I think you have to, just today, I was kind of thinking about God and the fact that, we're living in a critical time.
Yeah.
And yet I am still getting calls from people who are cheating, or, they're doing, some kind of, all kinds of crazy things. You would think that when we hear allegedly 50 bishops from a particular organization died in the last, month, you would think that people would say, oh my gosh, let me get myself together. But it takes a personal relationship with God. This is not about the applause. It's not about, what other people think. It's about putting a smile on the Lord's face.
Yeah.
And understanding there's a fear fear of me in particular, that I would become so comfortable with sin or something that's wrong, or working in a doing something that's wrong, so comfortably in that place that I can go on the pulpit and I can sing and I can preach and I can whatever, and then have it, like you said, this dual life. Yeah. But it really absolutely takes, when you want to hear that someone is a Christian, you really kind of look at their life, because here's the thing, and I'm going to talk I was going to say from a woman's perspective, but I guess both male or female. There are times you're in a relationship with someone who says that they know God, and they may be a pastor or preacher or whatever. They talk about God, and they treat you like trash. And the thing about it, like, people don't understand that the woman would say, I do not love your God, because he doesn't seem to have the ability to adjust to you. Wow. How can you be on the pulpit and pontificating all these dogmas and religious jargons, and then come and beat me, or just leave the pulpit and go into the car with your side chick? It comes to a place where someone moves away from God, because it says, if God, how can you be blessing this person?
Yeah.
And not adjusting them? How can you not tell them that this is wrong?
Wow.
So it's getting to that place where we understand that it has to be, when we go to God. I was in my kitchen this morning, a place that everybody in this house is glad for COVID-19 because I'm spending a lot of time in the kitchen.
Yeah.
But kind of there, and just like, and what I said to God is, am I pleasing you? Because if I'm pleasing him, so I can't do the foolishness. And I think it's that place where it's not about the applause. It's not about the perception of how people perceive you to be all that in a bag of chips. It's not that. It's, am I pleasing you, God? And when a man or a woman gets to that place, your life has to change. You have to have that rebranding that Saul had.
Yes. Wow.
That's just people know you to be, when as a Christian they ran away from him.
Yeah.
But his change was so solid and so true that now they ran to him when they wanted to know about God. So I think when people ask what happens, a real encounter with God.
Absolutely.
A real encounter with God will change it. And you will make decisions that is not for the applause, but in the privacy. So your mind is saying, just text that girl, just text that guy. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Yeah, you're married, but nobody would know, whatever. But then the love of God says, nah, I can't do that to him.
Yes. Yeah.
I can't do that to
him. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that is what I think causes the changes in our lives. When you come to a place where there is nothing that is more important to me than putting a smile. I'm not talking about heaven or hell, going to heaven or hell, because that's for the baby Christian. The mature Christian is about putting a smile on his face.
Yes.
Baby Christian is like, I don't want to go to hell.
Yeah.
But mature Christian is like, I want to make him happy.
That's it. Yeah. And you don't understand, on that point you just made, we were talking about this the other day, Bruce, and we were talking about how when it comes to the relationship, how for the man, part of him reaching his climax is not just sexually, it's the smile on her face. You want to make sure you are maintaining the smile on her face. So just as we're thinking about this situation, if we're looking at these relationships, the reason I tailored my music the way I did, because I looked at it as pure relationship. It was just things that he already knew, and me acknowledging them and laying them out to him and saying, this is where I fall short. I need you to sort of bring the increase, or I won't make it to the other side, that sort of thing. And so, that's the way we have to be able to look at this thing. And we're not trying to make this like, pseudo church or nothing, but just making a point. Most of who we are, the three of us here, I don't know about Robert, he's back on, but three of us here, if the one thing we have in common, it is spiritual encounters. And so at the end of the day, I was telling Bruce earlier, Cheryl, that to much is given, much is required. And Dr. Cheryl, I've seen you post amazing things and come with an extreme fire because of what you're accountable to do. I mean, Dr. Cheryl would say something and say something, God forbid, she'll say, the man wasn't wrong. That is it. The whole we hate you. You know what? You get off of here. I mean, but Dr. Cheryl would handle like a pro. It's okay. If you don't like my page, you can go to the page. God bless you, and move on and still do it. And that's the kind of season and maturity you have to get to in order to keep this thing going. And trust me, we've all had to endure it, Bruce. God knows, not only have I had to endure it, I'm still enduring the under fire stuff right in the open.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Right, what you're talking about, you're like, so it's a never-ending thing. I guess to me, I just have to make sure, Dr. Cheryl, that what's being said is not true. I can deal with the lie.
Let me just go a little deep, and then I'll come right back up. Here's the thing. In the New Testament, when God is identifying himself, he says, I'm the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We understand why he will say Abraham. Abraham is the father of all faith. Isaac, the rebuilder of the wells. But Jacob?
Yes.
But Jacob, though?
Yeah.
He did not say Israel, the name that he changed him to. He says, I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And Jacob is process. Yeah. There's not a part in Jacob's life that is perfect.
Yeah.
That's right.
scheming. He is, the whole situation with Leah and those kinds of stuff. He's not someone that is perfect, but here is God in his glory saying that I'm the God of Abraham, the man of faith, Isaac, the rebuilder of the wells, and Jacob, the man who is still trying to discover himself, the man who slips and falls and comes back, the man who, and when Joseph is bringing his child, the Bible says that when Israel saw that Joseph was coming, when Israel was coming,
Yeah.
Jacob saw that Joseph was coming, Israel readied himself. So when Jacob saw his son coming, Israel readied himself. And if you're not a student of the Bible, you would think it's two different people.
Mm.
But Israel and Jacob is the same person.
Yeah, same person. Yeah.
So now he probably was wilding out or being a Bruce or a Charles.
Yeah.
When the call came for him to function as the one who would pass on, he went into that role.
That's it.
Right?
Yeah, that's it.
People are just like, yeah, I know this, and you're still doing this or whatever, but you got to check out Jacob.
Yes. Yeah.
That is a process that sometimes we fall, sometimes we mess up, sometimes whatever. But when you call on us to be able to function a certain way, people will look at you guys and say, look at all of us and say, you know what? I know this, I know this, I know that. Because they're looking at the past.
Right.
And maybe some of the present.
Yeah.
But God has a way of honoring the fact that when you fall, you come back.
Yeah. That's it.
He's the God of the comeback. If you're going to come back, he's going to stick with you.
Yes.
And that's what people don't understand, because sometimes our indiscretions and our whatever shows up every now and then. I know people who preach you into the seventh heaven, and we're sitting in a casual thing, and the man cussed so much. I was like, Lord Jesus.
Yeah.
Sometimes people shock you.
Yeah.
Or you hear this person has a girlfriend and they have a wife. I'm not saying that we need to tolerate and whatever, but let God be God. Yeah. The question is, why didn't God shut this person up? Why didn't God take with everybody who's dying with COVID? Why did God leave
that person? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Let God be God and let God take care of Jacob. Let God take care of the Jacob.
Dr. Sherry, what you're saying is classic, because honestly, what you were saying earlier, the thing that I believe strongly that the reason I am even here and able even to do this is because I understand the power associated with repentance. I will repent in a heartbeat because I know I have to stay connected. Even if I'm weak or hanging on by a thread, if I don't know how to repent or get it right, then I'm no good to no one. And so you said the other thing is about, this is an age we're living in when you said, let God be God and let him handle the injustice, right? We're at a place now where people in the comments, or let's just say in the atmosphere, they want to pass the judgment. Wait, God, we'll deal with you later. But right now, we're going to blow Bruce up right now because he fouled.
Yeah, because some people forgot.
Yeah.
I'm telling you guys, there are people who, let's say, they early on in their Christian life, they took somebody's husband, they took somebody's wife. The person ended up divorcing, and now they're married. Right? So now they have a picture like, our life is just so great because we are married. Yeah. But you forgot the time that you were sleeping with her when she was married to somebody else. Yeah. Sometimes we forget
where we come from.
Or you forgot when you were sleeping with me and you were married.
Yeah, right. You forget. Yeah.
Or somebody who had a child out of wedlock, and then all of a sudden now you're on that place because God forgave you. Yeah. Right? Yeah. But you don't have the patience for God to forgive me.
Yes.
Right? We think that God's timetable, like, no, you need to not. Remember, that's what the Lord was saying. Remember when you needed his grace.
Wow.
When you were all shacked up in that relationship. Wow. When you were getting it from the back, the side, the front, to every place. Right? You remember that.
Yeah.
And now you're in a place where it's perceived better, and now you're looking down at everybody else. No, no, no. You need to repent. I'm not saying to condone, but give God the opportunity to be God.
Yes. And one of the most hypocritical things that we need to be aware of is, if you think about, like, back in the day when those medieval times, when those people wore the mask and they were the one that controlled the guillotine, the henchmen. What you need to understand, so let's look at it in modern day times. The henchmen are the ones that live amongst the comments, right? The henchmen, what they need to understand, the henchmen were chosen because to the core, they are murderers. You were formerly a murderer yourself. Yeah. And we forget that. We come out, we like, well, I know I used to be a murderer, but y'all don't see the movie back there. You only see me right here today. So right here, I'm a henchman. Now realizing that you're a henchman because you're a murderer. And one of the things that I've learned about doing this stuff is one of the hardest things. I never imagined truth being one of the hardest things to defend. That's why you just have to, it is a losing battle, and you need to let truth stand up and do its own job on its own. Because the more you can sit up all day and say, I'm innocent, I didn't do this, my hands is clean. Yes, you did, because you got stains from 2009 and 19. I don't believe you. You're so and so and so and so. So it's a rough road. Tell them, Bruce. You know.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you.
Especially in the world of social media, where you have trolls.
Yeah.
The henchmen, as you call them.
Yeah.
But when you make that decision, when you go through your process, because it's all like Dr. Holmes said, it's a process.
Yeah.
And when you complete it, I don't care what nobody says.
Yeah.
When folks come on, like when I'm on social media, I post all the time anyway.
Yeah.
When folks come on my page to say something contrary,
okay,
I've learned that some people just want to argue.
Yes.
And I never argue. I never say anything negative back in response.
Okay.
Why? Because I believe what I believe.
Yeah.
And the conviction of it is so strong that I don't care
what you believe.
And the second thing is, when he puts that love in your heart like that for folk, you have I don't want to call it a pitiful love.
Yeah.
But you understand where people are.
Yeah.
Even the trollers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you've been through your process.
Yeah.
So I can say, okay, sis, okay, brother, I see where you are.
But Bruce, you're telling the truth, because just yesterday I looked on the timeline, I saw one of your posts, and I saw someone got snappy. And just as Bruce said, he said, I understand. He sure did. He
I understand.
He went right on through kindly, and that was it. He didn't come back being funny and none of those things. And
now, it blows my mind, but I have got myself to a point. I'm gonna say Grace has got me to a point. I'm not gonna take no credit for it. Grace has got me to a point where it really don't affect me.
Wow.
Because if I gave it an extra 2 seconds of energy, like, why would that sister do that? She don't even know me like that. Right. How can she interpret what I said to mean da 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 da? Right. I can go in that frame of mind and stay there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And if I stay there, it takes away from the whole purpose of me sharing my thought in the first place.
Yes. Wow.
So I agree with my adversary quickly and release him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Agree with him and release him.
Because people want to pull you in, especially in the comments and stuff. People want to pull. There are people who I know, if I put something, they would never comment all the time, but then they'll come in and try to adjust.
Yeah.
Right? Adjust me. And I'm just kind of figuring and take the comments somewhere else. My thing is, what's wrong? That's why, because you're not going to, one thing no one is going to do is to get me to act crazy. Because my job is to bring enlightenment and to help people. People can't see me fussing and cussing here and then bring enlightenment over there. So you're not going to get me to be able to shift like that. And I look at it, and sometimes people get mad and they're saying, so where is Cheryl? She's not responding. Nope. I'm not responding. If I ask a question, I expect to get people to agree and people not to agree. That's the whole idea. Yeah. I am not going back and forth with you. But I feel for you guys, because one of the things that you guys don't know I want to put the cat out of the bag right now, is people like y'all.
Yeah.
Y'all two handsome men. Nobody, you guys have not declared your status
Yeah.
online.
Yeah.
So it looks like you're available and you're not giving people the kinds of attention that they want.
Yeah.
So
and it makes some of them angry.
yeah, so it makes them
Yeah.
angry because
Absolutely.
yeah, especially if someone says something and then they and you like it and then you're just not kind of following through, that's a problem for them. So I don't think you guys understand that people are really trying to get to know you in another level. And I'm going to get beat up by the women. For a lot of women, negative attention is still attention.
There's still attention. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Negative attention is still attention. And so they'll put something right there, but they have your attention.
Wow.
You more than likely when they put that negative comment, you're gonna go on their page. You're gonna try to figure out who they are. You're gonna see how cute they are and how fine they are and all of that. Because that is the whole process, you know, and it happens to male or female. But when so think about it, you don't know someone and they give a negative comment, you click on their profile.
Yeah, you're right.
So they get you. You know, they get you. So don't be discouraged with some of those kinds of stuff, and then kind of figuring out where the person is. You could be talking about, we as men don't like peanut butter and jelly, and then some woman will come out and say, "Yeah, I remember back in the day when you were in the club." It has nothing to do with
right now. You're
it has nothing to do what we're talking about. We're talking about peanut butter and jelly. Stay with me, right? But it's tough. It's really tough for you guys because there's sometimes, and Bruce, Lord, sometimes I have to do the Hail Mary and 10 Our Fathers for you with your post. Because
I know, Master. I know I'll be writing something to be out there.
Yeah.
yes.
Bruce is excellent at provoking thought. He'll write something.
Yes.
I'm like, what did he say? He'll go right for the jugular.
And then have the nerve to put Selah or pause. Why are you pausing?
Think about it. Think about it for a second.
Bring it. Let's talk.
Wow.
What happened to Robert?
Robert, jump back in real quick and give your lasting comment, brother. If you're gonna get back in, I don't know if he's in a good place or not. If he can. Robert, come on, Robert. Testing, Robert. Come on back in, Robert, really quick.
Okay, so some of the comments that's there. Oh, Robert is commenting. He said, we worry too much about what other people think.
Yeah.
Some people just don't like the truth. Sometimes we can post things that is directly a tissue or problem with someone, and they will come directly. They come directly for you or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Do guys do this? I mean, when you get mad with your whoever, you guys post subliminal things there, like
men. I'm not saying that. I'm not going to say I have seen some men in their feelings, right? But very few men will get on there and be like, you know what, women be doing this. I'm tired of them. Mostly the smoke signal. I got to give that to the women. The women will get on there. You can tell how their relationship is by how either they're posting, or if their person is publicly known, or if a few people knew who the person is, you're going to see an evident boycott. They're going to not friend them. They're going to be on the other people's page over there, knowing that, all that kind of thing. So this is the reality of today. Here's
a question for all three of you guys. So if you're in a relationship, a steady, exclusive relationship,
all right,
you guys have been dating like 5 years. It's not something that's new. You're thinking about proposing to the person, marrying for the long haul or whatever. You get into the fight of a lifetime. You guys get into a fight of the lifetime. And she posts how she's feeling on social media. Is there a reconciliation, and what would it take for you to forgive her? Is it forgivable, Robert?
It's forgivable, but we're gonna have to have a conversation. we really gonna have a real in-depth conversation. Because number one, social media is not for you to air out dirty laundry. Absolutely. Because what you really, like I tell women a lot of time, even if you appear that you actually have a good relationship, there are women and men waiting. They are waiting for you to say something is wrong, and here come the judgment. You know what I'm saying? You trying to go. What we have to learn, especially with women, stop going to social media with your problems. Yeah. Because what usually happens when you go to social media with your problem, it grows bigger than what it really is. Absolutely. Because some people want you to be miserable just like them. Absolutely. But just what Doc asked me, we're gonna it can be reconciled, but we're gonna have to have a conversation, and it's gonna be a real in-depth conversation, and I may hurt your feelings in that conversation.
Because
you know what I'm saying? But
she puts things in there that probably nobody knows. Because when a woman, I don't know about men. I've never been a man in my life, just for the record. Never been a man in my life. No. But there's a place a woman can get to in terms of being hurt.
Okay. That
she does not see anything but trying to hurt you back.
Okay.
It's not a reasonable. It's not. You're not. At that point, you're not talking to Cheryl. Cheryl is non-existent. So now this person is on social media. They talk about the fact that you made me had an abortion. Now let's say you're the assistant pastor or somebody. You made me have an abortion, and you told me that blah blah blah. You slept with 2 men, but all the dirty. I mean, you're talking about
everything comes out. Yeah.
Well, when you do that, I'm still gonna have a conversation with you, but I'm gonna tell you, you can go on about your business because now I can't trust you anymore.
You're right.
See, now my vulnerabilities, my those secrets that the arguments we had, those secret things between me and you exposing them to everybody. So you let me know that whatever I did, however you felt, you can no longer be trusted. So I'm going to have this conversation with you. Try to give you a lesson so you won't think our breakup of our 3-year, 5-year relationship is a loss. I'm going to try to turn it into a lesson for you. And once the class is over, I'm going to tell you, go to another school, find you another teacher.
That's it. What Dr. is saying is so much true, because in reality, how we see that as men is, basically, if like I said, if Robert's going to be vulnerable, he's going to give you all that. You're going to know all his business, and then put all his content on the front row of social media. This is a person that he is saying, so you can't really you can't contain what I carry. You can't cover me, because really we're looking to be covered as you are looking to be covered. In an ultimate situation, what the deepest, darkest secrets of her should never be. I should never tell Bruce. I should never tell Robert Lee. I don't care how mad she makes me. Right? If we're still together, that should just be what it is. So if we have these situations where men, because it always seems like, to be honest, it always seems like the more vulnerable you become, and you give out the information that you want the person to attach to draw to you, later becomes like a bag of broken glass to be hurled back at you later when you piss me off. And that's one of the hardest parts for men to unleash themselves today, because we know that element is prevalent. We see it every day on social media. We see somebody smashing somebody every day on social media. It makes it hard. You know what I'm saying?
Let me add to that. Let me add another element to that. Do not think that if you have an issue with me, that you're going to be able to call Robert or call Charles to tell them through conversation, that what happened between me and you.
Yeah.
So you can feel as though you got some kind of edge on the situation.
Yes.
Do not call my friends. Especially my brothers, unless you have my consent for us to talk to them together.
Absolutely.
When you call me and you say, well, Robert said such and such to me last night, and we got into a big fight, I'm going to say, hold on, sis.
Right.
Where is Robert right now?
Absolutely.
Well, he just walking around the block right now. He got in his car and he drove off. I don't know where he went to, but he tells me that you and him are close. And
Yeah.
If he told you that him and I are close, what makes you think I'm going to talk to you?
Yes.
About him.
That is it.
And I'm gonna add on to what.
But
I'm gonna add on to what he. Go ahead, Doc. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Rob.
From a woman's perspective, though, because I mean, I've seen this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking. The question is, who should they talk to? Because they're looking for someone. Not all women, but some women may be thinking, Charles and Robert are really good friends.
Mm-hmm.
I can't reach Charles. I can't reach him. Things are going so bad. I don't want to talk to the pastor. I don't want to talk to my parents. I don't want to talk. Let me call his best friend. Why is that? No, honestly, I'm not being facetious.
Yeah.
I'm saying to you, I don't understand. Okay. And I don't want you guys to just tell me it should not happen. I want to know what's going on in your mind that would make you say that is so wrong, because most of us as women don't see it.
Go ahead, Robert. Go ahead, Robert.
The first thing is this. When if we done had that blowout much of an argument, we need to separate, not break the relationship off. We go away and try to cool off, and then come back and try to have the conversation again. Talk to me. You should always be able to talk to me. Yes. We have the problem. Okay? It doesn't mean I can't reach it. Like you said, Doc, I can't reach it. As a friend, I would tell you, look, I'm just like my boy Bruce said. Yeah. Look, where's Bruce at? And if you said Bruce, I would say, baby, give Bruce a minute. Let him go down the street. He probably over there in the park thinking about you. But I'm going to let you go. Just give Bruce a moment. And when Bruce come home, y'all have a conversation. Don't talk to me about that. Because, see, like I said, I'm not Bruce. Yeah. But, see, you're going to ask me for my advice, how I will handle the situation. But your man is Bruce. Right. Me and Bruce is two different people.
Right.
You don't conversate with another man about another man because we're totally different. The advice I give women.
Bruce.
You know what I'm saying? The advice I give women is this, baby. If the conversation is that heated, y'all separate.
Yeah.
Go away. If it take 2-3 days, come back in 2-3 days. Yeah. But you two need to always work on you, because I want to solve the problem now. Maybe right now is not the time to solve. Maybe it's too heated because nobody's listening. Everybody's trying to be right. No one's listening. So you go away and you come back. And now let's listen to each other. Go ahead, Doc.
Because I really, I'm in my student the mode right now. I'm in the student mode because women we talk. That's that's one of the things that we laugh that Adam was by himself. He didn't have to talk to anybody, but once Eve was there were people to talk to. There was never a time that she was not around people. So the more hurt she is, the more she wants to talk. She wants to get counsel or somebody to kind of hear her out. So what should she do, Bruce? I know
she can get that. The core challenge she has, Doctor, is that she wants what she wants when she wants it.
Correct.
She's going to have some patience and self-control.
Yeah.
Because one thing, especially in 2020, in the days and times that we are in now, if men form a relationship, men are holding that relationship with such honor and respect for each other between men.
Yeah.
If you notice, men who in relationship, say Charles, myself and Charles, for example,
right?
We know how to talk to each other.
Right.
Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Anybody that's listening, have you noticed? You watch us a few times. There's no conflict.
Right.
We don't always agree with each other, but there's an honor that is there.
Right.
Honor is deeper than respect.
Right.
However, a female does not have that same honor naturally.
Yeah.
She doesn't know how to naturally honor that man.
Right.
So when something like that takes place, where you call me because you had a misunderstanding with Charles, or you want to understand why Charles thinks like this or does that, sister, I'm not going to put my relationship with Charles on the line.
Right. Right.
To help you? No.
Right.
Because a brother offended is harder to win back than a city.
Right.
I'm being real.
That's Proverbs. I'm not going to mess my relationship up with my brother.
No.
Oh, sir.
So
But here's the
Do you know how many folks done died behind that?
Yeah.
Getting into other folk business?
Yeah.
Man, because the first thing a woman does, Robert, I talked to Charles, and Charles said,
Right.
hold on, stop, baby, hold up.
Right.
What you mean Charles said?
Right.
Well, he said, that's your best friend. Y'all been friends for years. And he said that, hold on, baby. I'm finna call this little red dude over here. Hey, cuz, let me holler at you, man.
Right.
What is you doing?
Right.
What you mean, Rob, man? What you mean? Charles B. What you mean?
Right.
Bruh, who is you talking to? Why is you up here talking to my woman? What is you doing?
Absolutely.
Bruce gonna have to come over there and get between me and Charles, because I'm finna knock his teeth down his throat, man. Don't get in my business. Don't do that, man.
Right.
Keep your personal comments to yourself, and then I might come back to you, Doc, and say, well, since you trust Charles so much, why don't you holler at Charles?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Since you want to discuss business, you want this intimacy with Charles, these intimate conversations about me, why don't you holler at Charles?
Wow.
That's why we don't cross that line. We don't do that.
I want you guys to understand, though, it is not something that comes naturally to a woman.
Oh,
absolutely.
So because even listening to you guys, it's stuff that you hear. Do you want to be? No, I don't want to be with Charles. I'm with you. But can we just have a conversation? Charles says, you guys have been friends and whatever. Because in the female world, friends means that we can talk.
And in the female world, that's why y'all single.
But Doctor,
that's why y'all can't keep a mind either.
But that's it. But
because you're running off at the mouth, telling the next sister about your problems at home.
Your problems.
What? He said you don't listen.
Yeah.
He wants respect.
Yeah.
You giving the next female the script on how to either get him, to get your mind. Because a lot of times you ladies have that conversation. Is it okay to date my exes, my best friend's exes? Why y'all always ask that question? Why? Because sometimes you got women sitting back taking notes, making a script. Oh, that's how I get that man. That man, she knew what to do because you told it.
Oh, yeah.
Let's just be honest.
But Dr. Cheryl, here is something that we didn't talk about, and so this may be a cap to what you were just asking us. Think about the scripture and the meaning behind this.
Come on.
Hell have no fury like a woman's scorn.
Go on.
Going to this with this. This isn't an indictment amongst women, but it is a reality moment. Women most women, it don't matter if they're docile, quiet, calm, loud, ratchet. Women have a particular space they can tap into that is very much hellacious, and us men can't identify with it. It's different. And when you decide to go there, now that phone call to Robert or Bruce could be a whole lot of different reasons. You may have that woman that may see that the three of us move in the same space. We talk about relationships and love. So maybe Robert has a different perspective. Maybe Bruce does. Is it lawful or respectful to cross the line? Absolutely not. First of all, we all work together. And if we're cool and if we're maintaining respect amongst each other, the last thing anyone wants to do is input a foreign agent in our relationship.
That's right.
Sowing some seeds of conversation that defy respect. In our eyes, you got to look at how men look at it. We look at it like, don't be having no sidebar conversation with my associates, my guys. Don't even put us in that category, it's just not even cool. Go talk to your pastor, your brother-in-law, your uncle. There's a lot of other men you can talk to without having to divisively go amongst a pact that you know is there, because all that's going to come out of it is deception. And here's the other side.
Right.
There is how many times, Bruce, Robert, have woman came to you, man, you know, Robert, I told him, I'm Charles, I'm tired of Robert going to the club all the time. He leave me at home. We know he be, you know, that's Robert though. You know, Robert, he gonna leave you. Now I ain't saying I'll do it, but Robert will leave you. So now when the man says, I'm not saying I'll do it, he's separating himself from his friend.
Yes,
right.
On that, but I'm not. So if you want to get with me, you know, I treat you like that. I'm gonna treat you like a real man. So that's the way we look at it. That's how our work. The
mature thing, the mature approach to it is, if there is a problem, if Charles or if Robert says, hey, let's call and talk to Bruce, then we will talk on a three-way.
Yes.
But do not call me individually.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Say lie.
Dr. Johnson, it's something I do on my lives.
Yeah.
When I go live, a lot of times I have females that I know outside of Facebook or I have met through Facebook.
Yeah.
If I know they're single, I may say, hey, my love, hey, sweetheart, how you doing? Mm-hmm. You are Dr. Shell Johnson. You are married. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You are married. When you come up on my live, it's going to either be Miss Johnson or, hey, Doc.
Hey, Doc,
I'm not going to say love.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say sweetheart. I'm not all because I don't know what kind of man you got.
Yeah, absolutely.
But see, like I said again, this is what we're trying to tell you. Yeah, certain things you don't do. I'm gonna take you back to old school again. Can one of your girlfriends come by your house? Your husband is at home. Can your girlfriend come and sit in your living room and wait on you to get home?
Absolutely.
With your husband at the house?
Yeah, absolutely.
So why do you think it's cool for you to pick up the telephone and call Bruce and talk about me? Correct. It's the same difference.
It's two different things. It's two. So here,
no, it's not.
Let me push the envelope a little bit just to get clarity, because I'm not reading the comments. I'm okay. Really good. So now you're married to this man, and there is a door that is falling off. The hinges, right? Don't falling off. So this, I showed you this for Christmas, and you said, "Yeah, babe, I'll fix it." And then it's not fixed, and now we are in August, and one of your friends who is a carpenter or whatever, handyman, comes by and saying, "I say, Bruce, can you fix this?" And immediately he fixes the door. What is the problem?
The problem was it was not authorized by me.
That's it.
If you ask me to fix the door in January, and I don't get to it till April of the following year, that door gonna stay broke.
That's absolutely.
I better not. Look, I bet not. Not better. I bet not come in that house and see that door fixed.
Yes. But see,
and Robert fixed
it. But see, Dr. Cheryl, you're looking at this. I believe you are in a conundrum, because you're looking at this from Dr. Cheryl, and you're thinking, well, even if I did tell Bruce to do this, I don't mean anything. I'm a married woman, and I ain't thinking twice about it.
No, I am looking at it as the door needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
I don't care who fixed the door. I want the door to be fixed. So in my mind, your homeboy comes and he got skills, especially he comes with his tool belt and all that. It's like, yo, Robert, Charles, can you just kind of quickly do the door? And it's just like, great. And when you come home, I'm standing there all smile, like, babe, look, the door is fixed. Because
who fixed it?
But what you not but here's the other side of what you're not seeing. So you told Bruce the door is fixed, but now when you leave the room, here comes the friend that we so often joke. Yeah, nigga, I had to come over here and fix that door. What you need me to fix it? See, what's happening is you're giving another man a leg up on your relationship and or marriage. And when it comes to things that seemingly should be handled in the house, you have to give the man the space to do it. Because the respect of the relationship by reaching out to a friend that's unnecessary, that can cause it can just cause damage beyond damage. I'm
but
telling
you
you.
said a whole year. So it's like, hun, because you don't want to be a nag. Hun, that door. Wow. It would be nice for this door. I mean, every time we have to pass, we have to lift the door to go in. A whole year.
Okay.
So it has nothing to do with whoever. It's just happened that your friend is proficient.
Dr. Cheryl.
That's fact.
If it's been broke for 1 year, it's time for us. We should have been and had a conversation, because somewhere down the line, if I ain't fixing the door, it's more than that door need to be fixed.
Yeah.
The reason why I'm not fixing that door. Yeah. That's what I mean. It's time for us to have a conversation. It is not necessary for you to go outside the home and speak to another man. Yeah. It is time for us to sit down and have a conversation. Why is that door not being fixed? Or you can come to me, baby, what's the real reason why you're not fixing that door? Robert, what else is going on?
Robert, he says, I'll fix it when I'm ready. It's not your time. I'm fixing it. I said I was going to handle it, and I'm going to handle it. I'm going to fix the door. So this is month number 1, 2, 3, babe. Then you have the full conversation. And then in his nice voice, he's like, yeah, I'm going to get to it next week. I need to go to the hardware store and order this and order that, whatever. And then a whole year passes. And so your friend just comes visiting one day, and he has the ability to do it. Just one day. Took him 15 minutes to fix the door while you were outside doing the garbage. And I am just like, woo!
Wow.
If I gave the authorization,
I'm going to flip it back over to you. Now, your husband, your man been sitting at the house, and I'm just trying to think of something. His hair, something that he needed done. Can your female friend come inside that house and take care of your man?
Wow.
Okay, it's not okay.
That's because that's what you asked.
Yeah.
Can another woman come into your house and correct what's wrong in your house?
But it's not just correct, because I wouldn't have another man, like, let's say my zipper. I want my zipper pulled up and his friend is there, and he stepped outside to the car. I'm not going to ask his friend, help me pull my zipper up, or something like that. But this is something that's in the house. It's maybe something I want to move or something like that. It's nothing to do with the personal, I'm not going to, the guy.
But again, I understand where you come from, Doc, but if you can't get him to do a simple moving task or something in the house, there's something else going on. It's time to stop talking about moving the furniture and fixing the door.
Lazy. Lazy. I love him. He's my husband. He's an amazing man, but he is lazy because he just.
Well, let's sit down and talk about him being lazy then.
Well,
you sit down as the wife.
If you don't want that wall of resentment built, and when men build walls, men build them very quietly.
Absolutely. That's it.
We put brick by brick up very quietly. So when it gets to the point where it becomes a wall, there ain't pretty much nothing you can do.
Yeah, that's it.
If you don't want that brick to be placed to start building that wall, do not do that.
Wow.
Well, now
like Robert says, have the conversation.
Now that we have been schooled, because a lot of women don't see anything with the whole idea is done. It's a surprise. And the man, I think Robert said it, and the man just like, oh, you want to be with him, or you're gonna go. It has nothing to do with that. It's just like,
right.
The thing is broken. I don't care if a blind Stevie Wonder comes and he's your friend and he can do it. And I'm thinking, you trust him. It's not no stranger. It's not the neighbor.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing, Doc. Here's the thing. If it's been a year and you've repeated it to me. If you ask me several times to fix the door, and I let a whole year go by, and Robert comes in and fixes it, Charles comes in and fixes it, you're not just gonna say, "Hey, baby, the door is fixed."
Wow.
That's not how you're gonna present it to me.
I had to get Charles and Robert to come back here and fix this door. You wouldn't get up and fix the door.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I had to call Charles and Robert.
Oh my God, you ain't gonna
That's what we talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And listen,
No,
Dr.
come on, no.
Dr. Cheryl, and don't have a hint of insecurity in the relationship. Now you got things for Robin, huh? I knew it. Well, that's why you always slide, I bet. Okay. That's how it gets in the man's psyche. When you do something small and permissible like that, if there's already a pre-existing condition of insecurity, that's going to heighten it to another place. And now it's going to become, so I see. So now you wanted Bruce to come and fix it. I know you called him a prophet for a reason. I'm just making an example. So I'm telling you how it goes with men. I'm telling you.
And men never forget that.
Yes, yeah.
Especially if we don't make a big stink about it, or say if you apologize for, "Oh, baby, I'm sorry, I just wanted the door fixed." Yeah. We'll say, "Okay, baby, we'll let it go." It never leaves the back of our mind. We are constantly quietly assessing her for that one little thing.
But that's why is not what I have not heard from you guys. And then I'm gonna
tell you. Here's another way to look at it, Doc. Here's another. You want to know why?
When I say this, because no man is taking responsibility and saying, "Yeah, you know what? I probably should have fixed it a long time ago." How about saying that? What's wrong with saying that?
I mean,
what I'm telling you, Doc, is it's not the door. The reason why the door didn't get fixed for a year is because it's more than the door. I got a problem inside this house.
It's resentment there.
If you didn't ask me to fix the door within a year and I haven't done it, you are my wife. You are my woman. You're asking me to do something.
Yeah,
that's a natural thing for me to do. My baby asks, I do. But if you have to keep begging me to do something, you need to pay attention. Yeah, we got a problem in this house.
A deeper issue. Yeah,
ain't no door supposed to stay broke for no year. Ain't no door supposed to stay broke for no year.
Right.
So that's a problem. Here's another way to look at it.
Yeah,
that's a reason why. It ain't because I'm lazy.
Well, some men feel that they're not handy or whatever, but that's a good thing to know that a man feels that, just wait till I get to it, because, somebody, you're on the road and you get a flat tire and you call your mechanic, your husband's friend who is a mechanic, you call him first.
Yeah.
Before you call the husband. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's the problem.
No, there's a problem. If you call, if I'm not available, I'm going to be available for you. What you're missing is my point. If I'm not available for you when I ask, we got a problem. It ain't got nothing to do with me being lazy.
I'm saying I assess that out of the three of you, Charles is a mechanic.
Okay.
I'm gonna call. So I have something's wrong with my car. Well, I'm not calling my husband because he don't know what to do. He's going to call Charles anyway. So why not just bypass that and just call Charles and say,
more than likely, if Charles is your man, he got AAA. So you ain't got to call me or Bruce. Just call AAA.
Correct.
Charles ain't a mechanic. Just call AAA. Charles will come get you from where you at. Once the car is towed, they go to the mechanic shop and it get fixed.
Yeah.
Why you got to talk to one? Why you got to talk to me and Bruce?
And
you don't talk to me and Bruce.
That's it, Dr. Cheryl. Some hookups cause hookups. You know what I'm saying? Some hookups are not worth the hookup because it causes hookups. Sometimes those little small, because what's happening is there is a story being told basically outside of the eyes and ears of your husband. And now there's this little silent permissions being taken without talking to your guy. especially when there's another man involved. We're not talking about a handy girlfriend or a woman that you have. You're talking about another man that is my friend. Those things have to have conversations. You can't just kind of move about and be like, oh, it's just Bruce. He spent 2 hours in the basement fixing the basement. 2 hours in the house without me knowing? That's major to a man, I'm telling you.
And listen, look, we all know that birds of a feather flock together.
Yes,
So
sir.
there are characteristics that are similar between a cluster of friends. So there are similar characteristics between Charles, Robert, and myself.
Yeah.
Those characteristics are attractive. They are attractive to us, which is why we are attracted to one another.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
So if you are attracted to that element in me,
Yeah.
and birds of a feather flock together,
Absolutely. Now you're talking.
there's a possibility that you can be attracted to that element in Charles or that element in Robert. Because it's that element that linked us up.
Yeah.
There's wisdom there. If you are a person who's attracted to wisdom, you might be attracted to the wisdom in Charles or the wisdom in Robert.
Yeah.
Therefore, you will not.
Not.
You will not avail yourself to them without me knowing it.
I'm just telling you, Doc, we all three on the same page. You ain't finna,
I don't care
ain't
if
finna
we
change, Doc.
raise the dead. I don't care if we raise the dead together.
Yeah.
We are men.
Yeah. At the core.
At the core.
So then
Bobby
so
Womack
now-
said it. Doc, Bobby Womack said he really trusts me too much. He's the best friend I got. He'll give me the shirt off his back. But no, you do no, Doc, you don't do that. Ladies, please don't do that. Just leave that alone.
So here's the thing. So I'm dating one of you. I'm dating Bruce, and Bruce introduced me to Charles and Robert, and we hang out together and all that. I mean, all of us are, you guys are friends. What is the level of friendship I'm allowed to have with your friends?
I will say
in the open where we all are privy.
What?
Yeah, we are privy. Now, I will say this for me. I'm speaking for me.
Yeah.
I bet not catch a bruise. Now, if you with Charles, I bet not catch a bruise on your face. I bet not catch a black eye, because I'm finna come to Charles now.
Right.
Bro, what you doing, man?
Right.
Now I'm finna get in this business.
Right.
Now you beating on this woman.
And that's
you cussing this, you dogging this woman out. I'm finna get in this business because I don't accept it.
Absolutely.
Because like I said, man, no, we don't do that. But like Charles said, as far as friendship, what we got in the open, it ain't finna be no thing of while Charles is at work, you on the phone with me laughing and giggling, talking about the Oval, what you saw on the Tyler Perry show. We ain't finna do brunch together.
What happens if we're in a party, a social gathering, and whatever? And so I'm with Charles. Charles is my man or whatever. But I just kind of sit at the bar, at the stool there, talking to Robert.
We're in
a social event.
We are flesh.
I'm not sitting there because we're mad or whatever. You were talking to somebody on the other side, and
like the show.
We friends, we cool.
Give you your privacy over there while you talk to them. And I went, and I sit there and talk with him or whatever. Is the question, what are you talking to him about, or is that cool?
No, I mean,
I'm not doing it like that.
I'm not that insecure of a dude.
Yeah.
I'm not that insecure of a dude. We all cool. That's a fine conversation.
Yeah.
But like I said, now, if you just said sitting at the bar, Bruce is over there networking. We all at this networking event, and I done did my networking, Charlie done did his, or whoever sitting. We sitting. That's cool. We cool. We can laugh. We can giggle because Bruce is over there doing his network thing. And when Bruce come back, what's up, boy? What's going on? Yeah, we talking and this, that, another. Well, look, let me get back out here and see how much more money I can make. I leave now. Your man is back with you. I can go. It's not about insecurity.
So if he comes over and you just both of you, so okay, let me choose one of you. So Charles is my man. Charles is over there talking networking, and Bruce and I.
Why Charles got to be your man? Why I can't be your man?
Then Bruce is my man.
Why Robert can't be your man? Why you gotta choose me?
Edward is my man.
See, you see that? See, now there you go.
You see, I see that. So now you walk over and we just kind of whisper something, and then you come and you say, "What y'all talking about?" And we just look at each other and say nothing.
That's an insecure dude. See, these three men that you see on here, we don't have that insecurity. A lot of times, ladies are with insecure dudes. They're kind of those men don't have confidence in themselves. See, if my woman is gonna have confidence in me, because like I said, I'm not worried about the next dude.
That's right.
If you can get her. Yeah, I'm pretty secure in what I'm able to do. So if she that interested in you, baby, just let me know when you get ready to go.
Wow.
Just let me know. So we can, let me know when you get ready to go. I'm not an insecure dude at all. So whatever y'all was wishing about, talking about, if it's underhanded, it's gonna come out anyway.
Wow.
I'm gonna find it out anyway. So I ain't finna play no PI and try to find out nothing.
Yeah.
Y'all go ahead and do what y'all do. I don't have time for that. I'm networking. I'm at this event. I'm trying to do this. I could care less what y'all whispering about.
So Dr. Sherry,
I really
on what y'all just talking about, let me tell you something, a valuable lesson I learned years ago. My ex-fiance from years back, maybe sometime in 2012 or whatever, I'll never forget she said this. We would be leaving the church, and sometimes we'll be leaving the church. You know, after church, people go out to eat and stuff like that. We'll leave the church, and her friends would always come over there. They didn't have guys, but they'd come over there and be like, "Oh, y'all look so nice today for church. Where y'all going to eat after this?" And at first I'd be like, "Well, if you want them to go, whatever, we just all going to eat, the more the merrier, to have fun." And you know what she would always say? She was like, "Listen, ain't no woman finna get to know you from across the table." And what she was saying is, she was smart enough to know, yeah, y'all want to go to eat, but y'all want to get inside of my world of who I'm dealing with, so you can see how to maneuver. And sure enough, later on, one of the friends tried it. So she knew, but the point she was making was, no, I'm not giving you access like that to be able to try to play that game with me. Because I guess she knew her friends or knew certain women, or I guess whatever. So, yeah, but that's crazy.
I will not say anything to whoever you are whispering to, whatever my buddy that you are whispering to. I'm not going to say anything to you while we are at the networking event.
No, we get in the car, Bruce.
When we get in the car,
yeah.
Because I'm gonna peep it all. Because the whole networking event, I'm interacting with dozens of people, but I got my eye on you, and not out of insecurity, because I am your protector. So when we get in the car, I'm gonna say, "Hey, what was that whisper about?"
And what if I say nothing? It was just, we were just having fun.
I'm not gonna leave it at that.
Okay.
But knowing me, I'm not gonna leave it at that.
Why? It's your friend.
I give no occasion to the flesh. We are flesh creatures.
Yes.
And even though we have integrity, we have honor and all that stuff, we are flesh creatures. And I think of a show like Wild Kingdom.
Yes. Oh,
you look out on the Serengeti, you look at all the tigers on the Serengeti, and they are sleeping with each other.
Yes. That's it.
Because that is the nature of who they are.
That's their element. Yeah.
So am I saying that my woman can't talk to Charles? Of course I want to talk to Charles. That's my man.
Yeah.
Of course I want you to talk to Robert. That's my man. But it's going to be limited.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I'm sorry. It's going to be limited.
And look,
and women are the same way. I don't know why this is difficult for women to understand, because y'all the same way. Y'all ain't letting every woman in your main face. Doc, you don't let every woman, all your girlfriends up in your husband's face. Tell the truth now.
No, but I just wanted to know And I know some people said I'm causing trouble because the part of it, like when I asked about the house thing, there's some things, and I tell people I really studied the mind of a man. I mean, did really well. The professors thought I did really well, but you come back and you say, then you sit with a man and just be like, throw the paper out, throw the A grade away. I know nothing about a man because some of the things, just like you guys think, some of the things about women doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Some of the things about you guys don't make sense. And you know what? I'm sitting here just totally blown away because all three of you agree. There's no dissension at all, you guys. So that this is, as far as you're concerned, that is how it is. And I'm sure the other men who are in the comments saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Men are designed by God to be number one.
Yes.
Men are designed to dominate.
Yeah.
We had to learn as we grew into our manhood. We had to learn humility, honor, when to be quiet, when to let the next man speak, or any one of us can take this entire live and run with it.
Yeah, that's it.
We had to learn those things.
Yeah.
With men, it's always about being number one in measurement.
Yes.
We are measuring ourselves, whether we do it consciously or subconsciously.
It's going on.
And it doesn't always have to do with insecurity. It's the nature in which we were created.
Yeah.
Therefore, the main thing a woman has to know is that she, in all things, make your man number one.
Absolutely.
So no too much compliments, about Roberts and oh my gosh, I like this. Is a limit to how much compliments you can give?
It's a limit to everything. When you Bruce's woman, it's a limit to everything.
And just like Bruce is saying, Robert Lee or another person may make sense. Heck, we may both laugh and hear what he got to say. But guess what? You shouldn't cheerlead Robert Lee more than your man. Right. You should, whether you like it or not. Look, you better go in the car on your lunch break and look at Robert Lee. Don't cheerlead Robert Lee more than your man. It's just blank. It's just put it like this, because I know the same thing in reverse. If it were a woman, let's just say Dr. Shirley, it's you and all your greatness, and you're speaking all around, and I'd be like, I like, baby, your friend, the one that be speaking over in Guatemala, man, she powerful. I just make it a flight to go over there and see her. And you're gonna say you're gonna get a whole flight to Guatemala to see my friend? You can't
even sow a seed into my ministry.
No, it don't matter. Because think about it. All athletes, actors, like think about Denzel's wife knows that Samuel Jackson is a good actor. She knows other people are great actors, but it's you kind of like in, you just kind of like, okay, you respect it, you kind of just move away. This is my guy, so I respect my guy. You don't cross the line because you're that much of a fan. You understand what I'm saying? It's a respect to it. That's all. Yeah.
You know what? Let me say this. I know we're running late, but let me add this piece. Dr. Holmes, this is why a lot of pastors get this wrong. A lot of pastors get it right, but a lot of get it wrong, which is why a lot of men shy away from it. If you ever talk to your man about a pastor, I don't care, your pastor could be the deepest thing since sliced bread. You position it to your man as though, baby, this guy's deep, but I love to hear what you have to say.
On it. Yeah.
Anytime you talk to your man, I'm saying it again.
Yeah.
Say lie. Anytime you talk to your man about your pastor or about a pastor, and if you are constantly saying, oh man, he was deep today. Oh man, I watched such and such today. Your man ain't gonna say nothing, but he's watching you.
Yeah.
You have to position it as though your man, you want to hear what your man has to say, even more than the preacher.
Absolutely. Because what Bruce is saying, it is all about men watching to see where the funnel line of influence is as regards to my woman. Does the pastor have more influence than me? And if to men, that's where it all breaks down.
I gotta write that down. So
where is this funnel of influence coming from, and where does it lie with me? Like does this pastor have more influence than my whole house? And in some cases, we know that to be true. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is.
I like that, and that's one of the things I say. The voice of your husband has to be stronger than that of your pastor.
Absolutely. It's about the influence. Yeah.
But you guys, I mean, I know I sat here as a student listening to you guys talking. I think this is why we do what we do, right? So we have those hard conversations. I am not saying I agree. I still feel the door is the door is the door. I understand the why, so, but one of the things that I think Bruce said, it should be like, babe, can you ask, because I know will be the different way. Can you ask Charles to maybe just fix the door while he's here? So that's totally different.
Yeah.
Right? Because now it's coming through Bruce, it's coming through the man.
Yeah.
So they connect. So that no power is taken from either, right?
He feels regarded. That's all. He feels regarded.
So, Dr. It's 11:25. Let me give you an ultimate example of regard and honor. We know that you have been working all day.
Yes.
You have been talking to several people.
Yes.
And then you came home, and now you're on live with us, and it's 11:30.
Right.
We are happily going to release you to your husband now.
Yes.
And tell him that Charles, Robert, and Bruce
appreciate
him
for allowing you to be here. Yeah. That's it. That's real.
Yeah. Love you guys. This has been really good. Every now and then when I get a chance to jump in, I'll jump in. But I know some of the things that we talked about. I'm not watching the comments, but I know that people, if we're in a posture to learn, there's a whole lot of gems that came out of tonight. And when you guys do whether I'm there or not, there's a lot of gems. And I think people going through, they can formalize their session and come to me as a therapist, or they can listen to you guys and be able to get the answers that you need. In this time where people are dying and all that kind of stuff, I want to say on behalf of all the people that you guys talk to, whether it is Robert Lee on his own and Bruce on his own and Charles, and when you guys come together, thank you. Thank you so much. And neither one of you can die, because it's still more things we need to do. We'll have to resurrect you and bring you back here live. There's a whole lot that needs to be done. Thank you. Thank you guys very much.
Okay,
for all that you do to help.
Robert, thank you, Dr. Cheryl, for y'all tuning in. Appreciate it as usual. I'll be in touch. Love y'all, and thanks everybody in the audience for taking the time to hang in there and comment with us like you all did. Take care, everybody. Have a good day. All right.